Mr. President, I have the honor to speak on behalf of the Pacific Small Island Developing States represented at the United Nations, namely the Federated States of Micronesia, Fiji, Kiribati, Palau, Papua New Guinea, Republic of the Marshall Islands, Samoa, Solomon Islands, Tuvalu, Tonga, Vanuatu, and my own country, Nauru. It gives me great honor to be here today to introduce our resolution, Climate Change and its Possible Security Implications, contained in document A/63/L.8/Rev.1. After the issuance of the document, the following delegations have joined us as co-sponsors: Afghanistan, Angola, Barbados, Belarus, Burkina Faso, Burundi, Cape Verde, the Gambia, Grenada, Kiribati, Mauritius, Mongolia, Montenegro, Morocco, St. Kitts and Nevis, St. Lucia, San Marino, Serbia, Singapore, Uruguay, Dominica, Haiti, Guyana, Andorra, Antigua and Barbuda, Belize, Benin, Comoros, Gabon, Jamaica, Madagascar, Trinidad and Tobago, Togo, and the United States of America. Mr. President, the co-sponsors of this resolution, during the course of the past year, have involved the international community in extensive discussions on the security implications of climate change. We appreciate very much the support we have received from the members of the international community. Our particular gratitude goes to our co-sponsors and to Indonesia, who helped find the compromise text which will advance the international discussions on the matter of climate change and its possible security implications. In light of the introduction of L.8/Rev.1, we hereby withdraw A/63/L.8 entitled Security and Climate Change. We thank as well the like-minded group and the other active participants in the informal negotiations. They have all helped to enrich the discussion on this issue and have been instrumental in constructing this text. Mr. President, our special thanks go out to you for your help in advancing our issues and for convening this groundbreaking meeting of the General Assembly. We stand here at a historic moment, a confluence of firsts. This is both the first resolution for the PCIDS and the first General Assembly resolution on the security implications of climate change. Mr. President, to understand the backdrop of the draft resolution, I wish to briefly talk first about the Pacific, a region which has been relentlessly threatened by the adverse impacts of climate change. The islands of the PCIDS range from Nauru, the world's smallest island nation, covering only 21 square kilometers, to Papua New Guinea, the second largest island in the world, covering about 309,000 square kilometers, Tuvalu, made up of 4 reef islands and 5 true atolls, is only 26 square kilometers. Tuvalu is the 4th smallest country in the world and only 1/10 of the size of Washington, D.C. There can be no doubt that most of our islands are very tiny indeed. The vulnerability of our islands results from the small size of our homelands, coupled with the volume of the great ocean that surrounds us. Scientists have predicted that this ocean will continue to rise at an increasing rate. The Pacific Ocean, in which we have lived for centuries, will eventually leave little of our homelands behind if urgent action is not taken. Mr. President, may I reiterate the sentiments of the UN Secretary General at the meeting of the Pacific Forum leaders in Niue, wherein he stated, and I quote, Climate change is not science fiction. It is real and present." End of quote. While it's anticipated that most nations will ultimately suffer from the adverse effects of climate change, small island states, including PSIDs, are already grappling with dire and immediate impacts today. The impacts on our nations include the inundation of coastal areas, where the majority of our people live, the submergence of islands, loss of freshwater supplies, saltwater intrusion, flooding, droughts, damaged crops, and failure of agriculture, diminution of biodiversity, destruction of critical infrastructure, and a substantial increase in the incidence of serious diseases. In many cases, these impacts will ultimately render Pacific Island nations uninhabitable, destroying our unique and ancient cultures. As the rest of the world continues to debate the security implications of climate change, for our peoples, the problem is astoundingly real. And while some countries may have resources to mitigate and transfer their people to safety during times of natural disaster, we do not have this luxury. Our citizens literally have nowhere to run. Communities on drowning islands throughout the Pacific are faced with a looming homelessness crisis due to rising sea levels. For some, the only viable option is to migrate. While many have already relocated, more are expected to follow as more of our islands eventually submerge. Imagine a country submerging as a whole. Consider its territorial sovereignty, its population, and its government. These are fundamental considerations which, under international law, define one's status as a state. Some of our Pacific countries are in danger of losing their populations and their land as a whole. They will cease to be states. Never before has a UN member state disappeared.